So, hello and welcome to the Red Room. Our guest today is Mr. Mean. Welcome to the Red Room, Mr. Mean.
Red rum.
Red Rum. Yeah.
The red room, I don't know.
Yeah,
Welcome, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This seems like reverse osmosis here.
yeah, you've talked about my games a while ago. I think you were the first person to review the Giallos and Welcome to St. Cloud.
Yeah, I used one of the NPCs in one of my other games, a creepy guy you had in one of your games.
Yeah.
And I totally creeped out the player. So I figured it was a win. So
That's good, I think.
yeah. So, and I'm usually the one doing the interviewing. So I'm at a loss here. I don't know what to do.
Don't worry. Well, it's not quite an interview today. It's more of a chat. Talk about games and YouTube.
We love our
channels.
games. Yeah.
Yes, and we have a lot of games in common. I was checking your reviews, and well, of course, we have just a couple of reviews now. We've just started. So
you're belting them out, though. You're going to catch up in no time.
Well, in interviews, yeah, probably, but reviews we're still starting slow. Starting with the games we already know, because I'm not good at reviews, and
we always end up talking too much, and the reviews are too long. At least the first ones.
I thoroughly enjoyed the Mutant Chronicles one, so
that was one of them. But if you don't really are into Mutant Chronicles, then probably people are going to get bored.
Well, that's it. That's anything, and that's why our channels are, we'll be lucky if we hit 10,000 subs, because the content that we focus on is not the mainstay. You got these guys like No Nat does Pathfinder 2nd edition, and he went from overnight to 200-300 subscribers to 10,000 overnight. It seems like, because he's talking about a game that everybody knows. And the same thing with the D&D guys, but we focus on the indie games and the smaller games and things like that. So it's a niche crowd, and it's taken me 4 years to get 1,000 subs. So I got over 400 videos up, so that's a lot of videos. So,
well, but yeah, that was what I was going to ask you first. Of course, you have unlocked an achievement right now. It was what, a month ago?
Beginning of January, I think or mid-January, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So that was pretty cool.
And you joined Facebook after that, right?
And I joined Facebook. Unfortunately, as much as I detest Facebook, I did find a really cool Mutant Chronicles group. And if you want to grow your brand, you have to be on social media. You just have to.
Yeah, I don't really I don't like any of social media, but I need to be everywhere. So yeah, I don't have a Discord channel. I don't think it. Well, I'm not sure if I've sometime maybe, but not yet.
I find it a great way to stay in touch with everybody, because, like I said, I'm not on Facebook a lot, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And like, I think it's going to be better for me to create a group instead of a commercial. I created a commercial page, Mr. Mean Speaks, but they keep inundating me with internal ads, promote your channel, and they want to get money out of you. And I'm like, well, I'm not giving you money, Facebook. I'm sorry.
No, we had that experience.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do in Facebook is to create a group. But well, it overlaps with your Discord group, probably. That's why I don't have a Discord group. I have a Facebook group. So why do both? I'm not sure. Maybe. It depends.
I like Discord. I like the media. I like the fact that I can send files instantaneously. It's $10 a month for an account of I don't know what they call it, just the account, but I can stream to it. I can record. I use OBS.
After all, I know what is OBS. It wasn't installed in this computer. I had used it before, but I didn't know the name. Yeah,
I do all of my stuff with OBS, and then most of my interviews I do via Discord, and then I use Foundry as my virtual tabletop of choice, and I run everything. I run the voice and the video through Discord just because it's easy, And
it's better quality than those things that you're used to play. So I never tried that one, but Roll20, it's
horrible on Roll20.
Yeah. Just a
stuttering
small.
and pausing. The other hard part is, and it doesn't matter what you use, but like you're in Portugal, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
You're physically in Portugal, yeah, and I'm
physically
in
in
the
Portugal.
yeah, and I'm in the US, so we're getting a little stutter, and stuff like that. There's nothing you can do about that. That's, weather, bandwidth, technology, the equipment you're using and I'm using. There's a lot of variables involved there. So you're going to get, like when I did the interview with Christian Nome the other night, Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night. Yeah, the guy who made Titan Effect for Savage Worlds. He's in Quebec, Canada. And he kept stuttering and pausing, but he was having a really bad storm there. They were getting pounded by snow and everything. So there's nothing you can do about that except reschedule the interview. And that's hard enough, as you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've had to interview people at midnight and
2 in the morning.
yeah, 1 p.m. because well, there's a different time zones and you have to adapt. Most people are in the US, so it's a bit hard to
Yeah, and
schedule.
it takes time, it takes effort and work. You know how it is. You're doing the same thing I'm doing, and you can see
Yeah.
it's a lot of effort to get schedules met. It's here's the analogy I always make. As kids, we had all the time in the world but no money, right? So we wanted to play, whatever game we had, we played a crap ton of it. So if it was D&D or GURPS or whatever, we played it and we played it and we played it. And it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But then as we become adults and we start earning money and we have finances and, we have credit cards and mortgages, now we don't have the time to play the games,
And sometimes people to play them with. I stopped several times playing role-playing games because I didn't have the group that I needed to play them.
Right.
Probably if I don't play Dungeons and Dragons and I don't play much fantasy, so it's easy, it would be easier if I played D&D. It's always yeah.
It's so hard to, like I play a lot of the weird games. I play a lot of indie published games and stuff like that. And I'll go up to my local game store, which I live in Duluth, Minnesota. It's a relatively small city, 75,000 people. And we have 2 game stores in town, and neither one of them carry like the modern stuff. Like you're not going to go in there and find anything, like what you've published or anything from like, the Black Iron from Feral Games. You're not going to find that. You're going to find D&D. You're going to find Games Workshop games, and that's about it. And then when you ask someone, oh, you want to play Pathfinder? They're like, no, we play D&D. Well, have you tried Pathfinder? No. No, I don't want to play Pathfinder. Well, have you tried it? No. And it's like, well, so I have a core group. I have 6 players, and I can't always get it. It's like herding cats. You can't get everybody together in the room at the same time, and schedules. And one's a Boy Scout camp leader, and he's taking his kids camping every other weekend. And you're like, hey, let's commit to, we're going to play every Friday. Okay, well, I can't play this Friday. So it's like, it's almost, I want to give up sometimes. It's so hard.
We started playing online, but well, since COVID, but well, it's still not that easy, but it's manageable.
Even online makes it difficult. You post. I was running Pathfinder bounties. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're little like 2-hour sessions of Pathfinder just to introduce people to the game. And Paizo creates them, and they make a full virtual tabletop interface. So you can import it into Roll20 or Foundry or, Battle Maps or whatever. And I pay for them out of my own pocket, they're like $5 or less. And so I posted on the Paizo website, and I posted on the Foundry website that I'm looking for players. And I got 15, 20 people that said they wanted to play. So, okay, well, I want to run it Wednesday night. Oh, can't do Wednesday. Okay. So that eliminates half the players. And then, I want to do it at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Oh, I can't make that. There's another third of the play, so it gets down to like 3 people that can make it. And then the night of the game, 2 of them cancel, So you're like, why?
We have a small group now, just 3 players, including me, but they are more committed. We had some friends of mine that came to play. They said yes, but then, I have something else to do.
Yeah, and it's funny because you cancel the game. Like this happened to me in real life. player said he was up until like an hour before the game. Yeah, I'm going to be there. And then he cancels like 10 minutes before the game. So I'm like, all right. And another player had canceled for a very legitimate reason. His kid was sick. I said, okay, so that's 2 out of the 3 players down, right? So I called my buddy and I said, look, we're not going to play tonight. Sorry for the short notice. This is what happened. So then I take my wife out to dinner and I see the guy who canceled at the last minute at a restaurant with a young lady. And I'm like, oh, he canceled because of a girl. So again, women, the root of all evil. So, but I don't blame him, but I would have rather he'd been honest with me and said, look, I got the opportunity to take this beautiful young lady on a date. So I'm going to go do that. I'd have been like, cool, man, more power to you. I hope it all works out, but it's when you lie and stuff like that, it's just low moral fiber, so to speak. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's always better to have some backup players to fill in.
Yeah, I feel guilty calling too. It's like, you're calling for like a booty call, hey, what are you doing tonight? You busy? You want to come over? Yeah. It's like, nah, I have a hard time with that. So, yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to get players, and it's hurting cats, and then to find a group that you jive with, that want to play the same style. You guys have seen my library, it's pretty big.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play all those games, and everybody's like, no, I want to play a campaign. Do you know how much work goes into a campaign? Do you have any clue how much effort and energy I have to expand to run you through a campaign so you can be happy? And then you tell your friends, well, why don't you GM and you can run a campaign? Oh, no, I can't do that. So yeah, I'm the forever GM. And I hardly ever get to play. And when I do get to play, I'm just a spastic cat. So it's not fun. But I'm always used to being the GM, so I'm used to being in charge. So it's tough for me to switch roles and put on the player hat.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can do it. But I prefer.
Don't do it like Miguel. So he's also always the GM, but sometimes we have people that I game master sometimes. Normally when it's fantasy, but I hate to have him as a player because he always comes up with the most crazy things.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, don't you do that? I think the game masters, because you are tired of being a game master. So yeah, now I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I get
to inflict
all the pain that you players have put on me. Now I get to put on you as a player. How do you like me now?
Yeah, it's a kind of a revenge. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I think it is. Shh, don't tell anyone. That's our secret, Miguel.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy playing. And I wholly encourage you to keep GMing, because we don't have enough female GMs, and we don't have enough GMs, period. So this old saying I have is, I don't care how good your game is, it can't jump off the shelf and run itself. You need people like us to do it. And so more. I just got one of my players into GMing, and he loves it now. And at first he was like, no, I can't. I'm not. No, that's too hard. That's too much work. But now he's like, oh my God. He's talking to me after his first initial session, and he was just in shock. He's like, I didn't realize it was going to be this much fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress, but it's also a lot of fun. And it is, if you're any type of creative person, if any kind of creativeness in you, whether it's fictional storytelling or artistic talent, or the gift of gab like me and Miguel and Sylvia, it can be very rewarding. It can be very fun. I mean, I've had players in tears. I was running a werewolf campaign. I ran it for about 3 years, and one of the players wanted to play a white howler. I don't know how well you guys know werewolf, but the white howlers they become the black spiral dancers. They're the tribe that descends to the worm and never comes back. And so she's a purebred. And so I'm like, you realize if you play this, you're gonna always be under the gun. Someone's gonna be out to get you. Pentex is coming after you, black spiral dancers, the worm, everything bad in the world is just gonna come. And she's like, yeah, I want to do it. So the opening scene, she comes back to her tribe. She's Native American. She comes back to her tribe, and the whole tribe is wiped out, is dead. Houses are burnt down. It's out in the middle of New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere, and everything's on fire, and there's dead people everywhere. And she's like, what the hell happened? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You're going to have to figure that out. And so like 2 days later, she's staying in a hotel with the PCs that she met, and the doorbell rings, or there's a knock on the door. By the time she gets to the door, there's nobody there, and there's a shoebox. And she opens up the shoebox, and there's blood inside of it, and there's a set of pearls that are broken with blood on them. Her mom wore a pearl necklace. And there's a doll, which was her little sister's doll, and the hair is all matted with blood and it's ripped, and then there's her dad's car keys, and they're bent and bloodied and everything. And and on the inside of the lid, written in blood, it's "We're coming for you," and she's like, she literally broke down crying. In real life, she started crying because she's like, oh shit, you went there. And I'm like, yeah, you wanted to play the worst of the worst, trying to be a good character, but you're surrounded by evil. What do you expect? You're a purebred white howler, and if they can grab you and corrupt you, that's a major kudo for the bad guys, so, and that campaign went on for like 3 years, and we had a lot of fun. But yeah, when you can evoke emotions and feelings like that, it's, as a GM, it's just a win, and she loved the game. She kept coming back for more, so she's crazy, or I'm crazy, or we're both crazy. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun.
Now we know how you got your nickname, Mr. Mean.
Yes. Yeah, that's mean.
I've done some very mean things to players, but only because they put themselves in that situation, and it's a GM's job to do that, right?
It's not fun if you're not mean.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I believe in consequences, and like you play a game like Werewolf, where you're basically a killing machine, and you go through and you murder a whole bunch of Pentex guards. Well, yeah, you did the greater good in the eyes of Gaia and your clan and your tribe and everything. Yeah, but to the populace outside, you're just a murder. You just killed a whole bunch of security guards, guys making minimum wage that are just trying to do a job. Yeah, granted, underlying, they're all Pentex, they're evil bad guys, but the media doesn't know that, or is controlled by Pentex or some shadow corporation. So of course you're just a wanton murderer. So there's going to be consequences for that. And how do you deal with that? And that's, I think, part of where GMing for me is fun, is looking at all those extremities, those outside influences, and how they affect the party and what the party's going to do to minimize or maximize that effectiveness,
As you mentioned before, you prefer not the case of Werewolf, of course, but smaller games, independent games.
Yeah.
What you're playing right now?
I am actually getting ready to run the Black Iron. My buddy Jay over at Feral Games Inc., who is he's in England. He's a prolific writer and designer of games, and he makes a lot of games. And this one is really cool. It's a very dark fantasy. Sylvia, you might like it. Elves are the bad guys. So very similar to how Simbaroom, like the elves, I don't know if you know Simbaroom, but the elves are not very nice.
We almost bought it because it was beautiful.
I buy things just because they look good.
Yeah, well, hey, it's why do you think I married my wife? Simbaroom is absolutely a gorgeous book. I have all of the core books. I think I don't have any of the adventures, which I hate, because they did a very smart marketing thing. They put the adventures part, like half adventure, half splat book, or resource, so there's new relics, there's new races, new monsters and everything in there with the adventure. So it's almost like, I really want them, but I haven't bought them yet, excuse me, but I have all the core books. But yeah, Simbaroom, Miguel, you should buy it. It's a beautiful coffee table book, if nothing else.
Eventually I'll buy it just for that, because I have just bought.
Yeah, those are interesting and they're small.
This one, Lamentations of a Flame Princess.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
If I'm going to run something dark, this is the one.
That is a good one
dark
to
fantasy.
run. Yeah. Well, the Black Iron's really cool because it's also out for 5th edition if you're a D&D fan. But it's a very dark fantasy. The elves have left our plane. They have left because the human race started to rise up. They realized that, wow, these guys breed like rats and we can't control them all. But the dwarves did not, and the dwarves lived underground, and the dwarves wanted to be left alone. But the elves, through time, got bored and became very sadistic and very uncaring and very, for lack of a better word, just downright evil. And so they literally slaughtered the dwarves to a man, to a race. They exterminated them just because they felt threatened by them. And they were doing the same to the humans. But the problem is the humans bred too fast, and there were too many of them, and they were very where the dwarves were very static and stoic in their approach to things. The humans were willing to do whatever, and the humans were able to learn magic. And so that was like the great equalizer. And so the elves were like, no, time to go, bye. And they bounced, and they went to another dimension, basically another plane. And so they've left behind all of their atrocities. And then as the story setting goes, when they left, they created this apocalyptic event that basically blotted out the sun and caused a new ice age. And so the earth is slowly freezing to death. And so it's not only are you fighting the struggles of all these monsters and minions that the elves created and experimented on, you're also having to fight the environment. So it's a very dark setting, very adult topic themes. But if you're into that sort of thing, then it's a good game. And I'm using the D6 version. He uses a dice pool version where you have a stat which creates a dice pool, and then your skills add a modifier to that. So if you have a +2 in stealth, you add +2 to whatever your highest die is. So I'm actually running a demo of it Thursday night this week on Foundry to support the new Foundry VTT data set that they're producing. So the designer reached out to me and asked me if I would be so kind as to run it. So yeah, so that's the one I'm playing right now, as well as I have a weekly Pathfinder game, Pathfinder 2nd edition that I GM. It's a local campaign, but we're going back to Foundry just because COVID is really bad up here. And like I said, I'm just getting over it, and I don't want to expose my wife or my child. I have a 5-year-old, so I don't want to expose him to any nasties.
The Genesis is another of those that I bought because they are pretty beautiful, not just pretty.
Yes, not
which
pretty.
one?
The Genesis.
The Genesis.
Oh, Genesis or D-Genesis?
The Genesis.
D-Genesis, yes.
Genesis is a
Fantasy Flight.
Yeah.
D-Genesis is by far the best looking RPG on the market.
Yeah.
Past or present. I don't think there's any book that comes even close to it. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. But 6 more vodkas no longer supporting it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Well, it was unfortunate, but well, there are many books out there already. So
yeah, and you can still get everything for free off their website.
Yeah.
So
well, at least if they are keeping the website, I don't know, maybe.
I think they may go back to it. I understand that. I watched an interesting interview with them, the two main guys behind it, because they're a graphics media company out of Poland.
Well, it's we can see that those books are very, very, very graphic.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's their primary business, and they came out with D-Genesis just as a hobby, as something to do. They were all playing D&D, and they said they wanted something a little darker, something a little more, and something more central to Europe, because they're over there in that area of the world. And so they came up with D-Genesis, and it went gangbusters. I think their marketing plan on paper looked solid. If we give the books away for free, people will buy them. On paper, that sounds great. If you give somebody something for free, it entices them to want to spend money, right?
Yep.
Unfortunately, gamers, the first thing is most gamers are relatively broke for the most part. It's a tertiary hobby, meaning your rent, your car payment, your cat food, all that stuff comes first.
Yeah.
So whatever's left over might go to a game book. But when their average game book is, $60, that money gets tight real quick. And so, but you're paying for that production quality. And everyone I know that's bought the books, any of the books, has been extremely satisfied with them. You know, I bought the big collector's box set, the big black box set with the dice in it and the prints and everything, and it was like $260, you know, US. And
That's the one we bought too.
Yeah,
And we
I
bought a
keep it
lot
in a
of,
box. Yeah, it's in a box,
we
and
bought
it's
also a lot of stuff from sale because they are on sale. So I bought the
Right.
rest. It was his Christmas gift.
Oh, Sylvia, you're too awesome,
Yeah,
man. Miguel, don't let go of her, man.
That's the advantage of marrying a role
a role
player.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my wife is a biological scientist, so she is not into gaming whatsoever.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you buy another book, I'm going to kill you. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm
oh,
also a scientist from. I don't work in the field, but my studies were from science.
yeah.
Yeah.
She
But
doesn't work in the field anymore, just because up here where we live, there's no biosciences. So she has a minor, an AA degree in accounting, and so she works in accounting, and
yeah,
she
just
likes
like
that
me.
too, because
Yeah.
she's big on numbers. So, you know, I just say, here's the checkbook balance, tell me how much I can spend. She goes, nothing. I go, okay, and I spend it anyway because I just put it on my credit card. But yeah, the Genesis books are absolutely gorgeous, and you know, I wholeheartedly recommend anybody go buy them if you can find them. You know, and I think they're still selling them on their website, I think.
For until the end of the month, I think they will keep on.
There's a couple.
selling.
I need the Justinian book. I don't have that one.
Yeah, that's the one she gave me for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
feel free to ship it over here. You don't
yeah.
need it.
I ordered too many stuff because he was, oh, I missed this, and then I ordered, and it was like, oh, but we don't need. I didn't need these ones that are just booklets. Well, I didn't know. I just ordered everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're
there was those.
gorgeous booklets, though.
Yeah,
you
they
know.
are. They are gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous there.
Oh, I have 3 sets of the game, so how's that tell you? Because I downloaded the PDFs and I realized that it's the World of Darkness system with D6s.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not a fan of D6 systems, but I like the World of Darkness mechanics. And it's pretty much very similar to that system. And so I'm like, well, this system I like. And so I took it to a friend of mine who owns a printing shop, and he printed it on high quality paper, spiral bound, you know, the 2 main Carthisis, is it Carthisis?
I'm not sure.
The 2 core books anyway, the world setting
Yeah,
book and the
Catharsis,
rules book.
Catharsis.
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 Yes.
There we. I couldn't say the word. And then Primal Punk, and I got those 2 books and I printed them, and they were beautiful. And so I said, wow. And then my buddy bought the collector's edition, the black one, the Vitus Vitae. He bought that version, and so he's like, well, I don't need. He had the slip box of the white books, the 2 white books. So he said, I'm going to send them to you because I know you like the game, because he'd seen my review of them. And like I said, I just had the books because I couldn't afford them at the time. And so he sent me the slipcase, and then I got a big bonus at my job and everything. And I was like, oh, I got a good job. I've been going good for a couple of years now. Maybe I should buy myself a treat. And so that was my Christmas present for like 2 years ago. I bought the big box set, and everything is still in the box. I opened it up. I did an unboxing video. I looked at it. I flipped all through it, and I put it all back in. I wore gloves while I was flipping through it because I didn't want to get my grubby oils from my hands on the books. And they're in the box, in the shipping box, tucked away. And when I get a bigger house, I'll put them out on display. You know,
So
but
you haven't game mastered yet, of course.
Oh yeah, I ran a short campaign.
Oh, it's books, but you game mastered it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I found out that I like it. I can read a game, but until I play it, I don't know it. So I have to play the game to know it. I can read the rule book all day long, but it doesn't work for me. Yeah. I have to get under the hood and tear it apart and play with it. And then I decide I like it, you know.
We haven't played it yet.
You got to play it.
I'm still waiting. Yeah, we must. But well, you know, since the last year, I've been playing my own things because I needed to play test them. So now
there you go.
Now I'm reaching the end of it, so I'll have to play other stuff next. So
well, you definitely got some cool stuff. Well, you got Sylvia there. Let her game master it for you.
I don't want to game master the Genesis. That's too hard. I'm not gonna,
it is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah.
And you know, but I would think though, I don't want this to sound weird, but like a lot of role-playing games are made for the American audience, right? It's a
Yeah.
very Western European audience, Tolkien, that kind of thing. Warhammer, even though that's a European, England type game, but it's still Americanized, so to speak. Whereas games like Symbaroum and
Yes.
Degenesis are more EU centralized. So I would
Yes.
think, like for me, it's easy to pick up, Mutant Chronicles and go, oh, it's because it's very Americanized in its presentation. But then you look at Degenesis and it's very European in its presentation, because one of the weird things, and I don't think a lot of people get this, is like over in Europe, nudity is perceived differently than it is in the US. Like if you see a man's buttocks, or a women's breast in the US, it's like, oh, whereas in Europe, that's like, it's like
You can see breasts in a commercial.
right, exactly. Yeah, I remember watching Benny Hill late at night. It would come on one of the cable channels, and it always had, the women running around in their panties. And I remember my mom coming in and going, "Oh my God, what are you watching?" It's no big deal, Mom. It's what's
Just
the difference
comedy.
between a woman's
Yep.
bikini and a woman's panties? There's no difference, right? So, but yet we put that preconception of it's taboo, it's forbidden, whereas in Europe they don't necessarily do that, So
Yeah.
it's so I would think for you guys to pick up Degenesis would be a lot easier than American audiences.
Yeah, it's probably
Probably.
is. Because
know.
those factions are based on Spanish and
The Polish,
Polish
and
and
African, German,
Yep.
Battalions,
yeah.
So
That's one of the things I like about games that are European or made in Europe, because they have different references.
right.
Even it's not.
And to me, that's fascinating to see how we look at things differently than, the other side. Like Symbaroum, before Symbaroum, there really wasn't a game that was dark like that for the US. I mean, we had Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay that's been out for 30 years. And of course it's dark, but it's an acceptable dark. You know what I mean? They call it a grim dark world, but it's really not. It's a stupid world because the average, not to be mean, but the average player character is illiterate, is a farmer, a dirt farmer, or a rat catcher. You know what I mean? Their level of intelligence is low. Whereas you go to Degenesis, or Symbaroum, and all the characters are somewhat learned, they're intelligent, they're capable, so it's a difference of opinions on how we view, I hate to say this, but like Americans just want like Conan the Barbarian, whereas, Europeans want, Machiavellian, type thing.
Even Mutant Chronicles, if you look at the Bauhaus faction, it's totally
Yeah,
it's
but
totally different from Capital.
Mutant Chronicles is originally Swedish.
The
American version, I think there's an American writer who did some of it. Matt something, I can't remember.
When Heartbreaker Hobbies did the first edition of Mutant Chronicles, it was pretty much a straight port from the Swedish game. They just put English words in it, and it didn't do well, and rightly so, because the American audience wasn't, it's because like Bauhaus was the huge corporation in first edition. They were the powerhouse. Mishima wasn't even thought of. Cybertronic was like meh, and then second edition was Americanized. Heartbreaker Hobbies went, oh wait a minute, we need to sell this to the Americans, we need to make it. So then Capital became the big, the big company, as opposed to Bauhaus. So it was kind of funny in that aspect, Mitch Hunter and all the big American guys. So, and Cybertronic kind of became a mishmash and a spin-off of the American corporations joining. So yeah, it's just funny how interpretation takes
my favorite one is the Imperial. When we played, I played an Imperial, except when we were playing something that was faction based. But I like the Imperials, the crazy British guys.
I was always a fan of the Brotherhood. I liked the religious ninjas, basically. I thought that was the Mortificators were.
They are great.
But again, I never got to play.
Yes.
Yeah. I never got to play. I only got to GM it, but I loved it. And the Mortificator was a villain,
Yeah.
But he just
the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Have you played it? Have you played it since the 90s, the second version? Or
I have GM'd the new version
Mm.
from Modifius.
Yeah.
I didn't back the Kickstarter, but I was lucky enough I did a review of it, and Chris Birch, the bigwig behind Modifius, sent me all the PDF files from the Kickstarter for free as a thank you for doing the video, which was super nice. So
It was one of your first videos, right? At least
yeah, it was
the
very
ones.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Dungeon
checking
Crawl
the
Classic
old
was
ones.
was my very first one. I did a review of Dungeon Crawl Classic in my house in Louisiana, and with all the boxes behind me and everything, because we had just moved in. Yeah, and then I did the GM screen. I think was like the first Mutant Chronicles thing I did was the GM screen, and then I did the core rule book, and then I just last night, no, Sunday afternoon, I did a order. Modifius is having its yearly 2022 sale, their new year's new sale, and so I bought, I think 4 or 5 of the splat books that I didn't have. So they had like the I think they had like the Bauhaus book for $5,
Oh yeah,
the faction book. So
they are cheap now.
yeah, and then I bought the and they keep saying they're supporting the game, but yet I don't see anything
No.
new come out for
Yeah.
it.
There's one thing, but I think you have to order it from drive-through on print on demand. I think it was I don't know the name of it, but it's a small adventure.
Right.
Well,
And that
probably not
adventure
that
was
small.
written for the Kickstarter,
Oh yeah,
and they forgot to publish it.
Yeah.
It's literally a mistake that they found, and they were like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll put this out." And someone was like, "Hey, wait a minute, that was supposed to be for the, we never got that with the Kickstarter." So yeah, it is what it is. But I hope they support it some more. I mean, though, to be honest, what can they really do? They've got all the faction books out. They've got, Dark Eden out. They've got the Dark Heretics and the Dark Legion books. What more can they really do? Adventures would be
Yes.
the only
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Only adventures. Yeah.
And there's no money to be made in adventures.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. That's right.
So
I guess it is not for everyone. It's a really great game, but I don't think it's not
Yeah,
for everyone's
it was
taste.
never very popular, right?
no, I don't know about over in the EU, but in the US, it just never took off. I mean,
I think it was popular in Italy for some reason. Probably in
gee,
France.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Paolo Parente was a prominent, Italian
yeah.
artist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He had,
Yeah,
because in the European version, it was his art that was focused. In the American version, it was Paul Bonner, which is, if you look at the current 3rd edition cover, that's
Yeah,
Paul
it's-
Bonner's art.
yeah.
You
Well,
know.
I love those ones.
Yeah, I mean, the exaggerated, giant hands and big heads
Mhm.
that don't match the size of their body, but still, it's over the top.
Yeah.
And it's a great game. I love the 2D20 system. I love Star Trek. I love Conan. I like all the 2D20 systems. I mean, I think they're great.
There's another one that wasn't really popular. Well, it's popular in its previous version as a minis game, Infinity. You also reviewed that one.
Yeah.
I love Infinity. I love the miniatures game, and I actually got to play the role playing game as a player, and I got to play my faction, which is the Nomads. I have a Nomad army, and then I, of course, and they have. Have you seen the character generators on the
Mhm.
web?
Yeah.
I always use those.
I get bored and I'll just start making characters.
Yeah,
for
I did a lot of
Infinity
them
or
when we
Mutant.
were playing.
Oh.
Yeah, we were playing Mutant, and we played both of them. We also played Conan, but not that much. But I did a lot of characters because this character is not good enough.
Right. This guy, Crib Death. This guy's useless. I don't like him. So yeah, Infinity, another great setting, another great game. But of course, a European company.
Oh yeah, the original game was
Warcrow.
Spanish.
Yeah. And
yeah, I really liked it because of it's like I was saying, the references were so different, and because they are Spanish, they use a lot of Portuguese words,
Right.
and they use Brazil, and it's funny.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And they had all the factions. They had now that Kickstarter I did back, and so I've got all the faction books. I've got all everything that they put out for it originally. They've come out with some more stuff, but again, it's not being supported nearly as well as it could be.
Not
but
really,
again, yeah, in the same boat. They've got all the
Yeah.
faction books. they've got the core book, they've got some map tiles, and they've got a GM screen. Now the only thing to put out is adventures, and adventures are proven that they
I'm
don't
not
sell
sure.
well.
Did they publish everything that was planned? I don't think so. I
Yeah,
received
they've
the.
got.
I was a late backer and I received the rest of the stuff, but I'm not sure. Well, maybe
Yeah,
I think
because
there
they came out with
was
the 012 book. Came out with the 012 book. They came out with the Combine book, and they came out with
Mercenaries probably.
the Aleph or Aleph, or
Aleph,
however you
yeah.
want to say it. The robots, the robots, and those were the three kind of newer factions. And then of course they've come out with all the splat books for like adventures and stuff, which very well supported the cards, the gaming tiles for use with the miniatures. I was often remiss why they didn't support the miniatures in the role-playing game. Like you got all these, Angel Hernandez is an amazing painter, right? He's their staff painter for Corvus Belli, and he does his paintings are phenomenal for miniatures. Why didn't they use some of those? And I think it's just because Modiphius and Corvus couldn't make an agreement or something, or they decided they wanted to keep them separate. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you'll notice in any of the books, there's no pictures of miniatures.
No.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But they even tell you in the GM section to use the miniatures from Infinity the game. But yet, that's free art for the most part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
But
That's strange. Really.
yeah, it's a weird one. So yeah, you have great taste in games, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another game that Modiphius published and they didn't support it. Well, even less than these ones. It's Cold and Dark. You probably your review was probably the only one.
Well, yeah, it's a D10 system. It was a stat and a skill, very similar to Vampire the Masquerader, Werewolf, or Mage. And just what a great setting. You're in space. There's this amorphous entity that's evil, and it spreads. All it has to do is scratch you, and now you're infected. And you may not turn right away. It may be, so you got that horror of like aliens, but you got the suspense of like the Cthulhu mythos, because you never knew. And all it takes is for one person to be infected, and then they go down in the bowels of the spaceship or the space station, and they stay down there and mutate, and then they go grab some, and just the suspense and everything that you can make with that game, I thought was amazing, because man went again, kind of like Mutant Chronicles. We went to Pluto. We opened a seal that we shouldn't have opened.
Yep.
And out came the bad things. Pandora's box.
I didn't think about that, but it's probably inspired by Mutant Chronicles. The author
He's Swedish, right?
He's Swedish, and he worked in Mutant Chronicles.
So
there's
but it's a good
connection.
game, though. That's the thing. It didn't have a ton of art, but what art it did have was very good.
It was very good, for a small game. It was very good.
And it read well. I remember reading it, and I couldn't get a physical hard copy of the book, so I had to buy the PDF and print it out and spiral bound it, and that's the only copy I have. I think now you can actually buy a hardback copy from Modiphius.
It's probably
so I should probably go order that. Yeah. Well, I think I want to say I paid maybe under $20, right at $20 for the PDF. But I enjoyed it. I got to run it one time for 3 friends. And we really enjoyed it, but I live in an area where everybody wants to play D&D.
Yeah.
So I think they played it more to shut me up than.
We didn't play it a lot either. It was just
we didn't have a group at the time. It was during the time that.
Do you know this one?
Yes, Noctum.
Yeah,
yes.
by the same author. I was.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
By Cold and Dark.
Yeah, the same guy who did Cold and Dark did this one. This one is.
I'll have to pick that one up. What is that one about? I've seen it. I haven't read anything about it.
This is horror, just horror, contemporary horror.
Oh, okay. So modern day.
Yeah,
modern day. There are no. There's not really a setting because there are some references, some.
Right. Well, you've got modern day, so you don't need it.
Yes.
There are some described organizations and bad guys.
Is it the the great old ones kind of horror, or is it just
no, not quite. I think it's similar to. I can't remember the game now.
Cult.
I was gonna say Cult, but
yeah,
it's not Cult.
There are some similarities, but I think the mythology is from something else, but not Lovecraftian. It's
Okay, good.
more, yeah.
I'm
And you
not.
can,
I'm not a fan of Lovecraftian
yeah,
horror. I just
Mm.
don't know why it doesn't jive with me. It's just not my
it's
cup of
funny.
tea.
Yeah, I think it's funny more than there was some years ago there was an anthology of tales written by Portuguese authors, inspired in Lovecraft. And one guy that is British but he lives in Portugal, he wrote a tale in which it was passed in the 40s, but basically the Portuguese people made octopus rice out of Cthulhu. It was a funny one because the other guys were writing over, and he was just wrote a
He's making
comedy.
octopus rice.
A gigantic
Well, think, man, think of
rice.
those tentacles, how big they are. You could feed
Exactly.
the world. I love it. Sushi for everyone. Sashimi for everyone. I like it. That's kind of cool, actually. I think I would like that. Have you seen Modifius also did the video game Dishonored? Is actually a
Yes, I have
title
it.
which
I
is
have it on PDF, but I didn't buy the book.
You got mad at
Well,
Modifius at that time.
yeah, I was when well, I was buying Conan, but then there was some problem there because they started hiring those sensitivity readers and
oh yeah.
changing stuff, and I said, okay, I'm not
Uh,
buying
I
anything more.
that's funny because I bought the new Vampire 5th edition and I remember reading it and they talked about the X card.
Oh
They
yeah,
talked about the politics and everything. And Vampires is a political type game. You're struggling for power, over mortal men and your the kindred environment and everything. And I get that, but we don't need to throw real world politics in
Yeah.
there. And we don't need to throw, genderization in there. I had a transgender in in my Warhammer game, believe it or not, and years ago. And I thought we all knew he was a man, but we referred to him as a her because that's what she wanted. And we didn't care. Because one of the great things about the role-playing community, the gamer community for tabletop games, is we're very accommodating. We're very open to not the social norm. So transgenders, transsexuals, we don't care because 9 out of 10 times we're coming to sit down to play a game to be entertained. And so we don't care what the guy or girl sitting next to us is or cares, because that's not in the realm. You don't go to a role-playing game and going, man, that Sylvia chick's pretty hot, I hope I can get a date with her. That's not why you go to a role-playing game. You go to a role-playing game to sit down, tell a story, eat popcorn or Pop-Tarts or whatever with your friends, and have a good, chuck some dice or chuck some cards, whatever your gaming system of choice is, and have fun. So those kind of moralities don't come into play. And that's everywhere, where it's Portugal or, Germany. I've got friends in Germany that, nobody cares about your orientation, whatever your political or sexual or moral orientation is. Just don't be a dirtbag,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's worse when you try to force that on people, and people get annoyed. But it's just because you're putting it on the table when it shouldn't be.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Do I really need to sit down at the table and say, Miguel, don't make dick jokes, okay? Because there's a lady present. I shouldn't have to say that.
That would be hard.
I do them anyway.
It does them anyway.
Well, the lady in present is probably allowed to be made dick jokes with by you.
Of course.
But like if you were to come into my house, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shouldn't have to say,
exactly.
don't make dick jokes, because my wife doesn't think they're funny, and my wife's a non-gamer. Now, it's funny enough that my wife being a non-gamer, and we've been married over 11 years now, my wife is like, your friends are some of the most polite and nice people when they come over to the house. Now, we talk to each other like we're dirt bags, right? It's, hey, dick breath, whatever, whatever, we insult each other, erroneously 100 times an hour, but they're always polite and respectful to my house and to my family. They may pick on me and I pick on them, but to my wife, it's like, yes, ma'am, or yes, my wife's name is Vonda. So they're like, yes, Vonda. They're always polite. They're always nice and cordial. And she's like, but then I listen to you guys, like my wife loves to listen to me storytell. And so she's like, you're so mean to them. Why do they keep coming back? And I'm like, well, that's what they want. They like the challenge, right? They want to be tasked. They want to know that there's great reward at the end of this hard challenge. And so it's about the storytelling. You're telling a story, and you want to see where it goes. And it's so hard to explain to people who are not gamers what role playing is.
Yeah, it is.
Because they just do it. So you chuck dice. Well, it's more, yes, we do chuck dice, but it's more about the end game. We're playing some statistical values to reach a determination of a value that we don't know what it is. We're playing to find out. And it could go left, it could go right, it could go up, it could go down, it could go backwards. We don't know, but that's why we play, to figure out where it's going. And it's for people that are non-gamers, it's hard to figure it out, because a video game, you have a defined big beginning, a defined middle, and a defined end. At the end of the battlefield map, there's going to be a loot box there, and that if you beat the other team, you're going to get that loot box. But in a role-playing game, that's not predetermined. You hope that's the end. But, if you're playing Call of Cthulhu, it might just be a shotgun to the face because it's either that or Cthulhu eats you. Which one do you, which path do you want to go to? So I think that's what's neat about role playing. And I think it, very diversified people and language barriers. I mean, you guys are Portuguese, you speak English very well, but there are terms and phrases that the English speaking community uses that leave you miffed. You don't understand what they mean, or you don't quite necessarily get what they mean. But then the same thing goes for us talking to you. You say things or comments, especially when you get comfortable around people, your native, attitude comes out, and it's completely alienated to what my thoughts are. But luckily I've been around the world and I've dealt with a lot of different people. So I take everything. Part of being Mr. Mean is not being easily offended. So, and some gamers are easily offended, but most of them, I would say the majority, are very open-minded and very open to differences in people. And that's what I like about our community.
And that's why we didn't need safety tools, and we still don't need them.
I don't need an X card, because I'm guaranteed I'm going to offend you. It's just a matter. It's not if, it's when. And that's what I tell all my players.
It depends of the level of comfort that you have with the person, because I can say for Miguel that when you're playing with someone new that you don't have a lot of confidence, you're not going to start making deep jokes, and because you don't know if that people are going to be okay.
Right.
At least I will not include them. I may
in the dick joke.
Yes, then it's going to happen. Okay, yeah.
And imagine, be the fly on the wall when you make the dick joke to your wife, and the new guy or gal is sitting there going, once they get to know you, they realize, oh, that's just their dynamics, that's their humor, and it's cute, or it's funny, or it's acceptable. But I always do the session zero. I always do a session zero where I tell people, this is my sense of humor. It's not personal. This is the game. I may be a jerk to you in the game, but it's not, I don't dislike you as a person. This is the character. The character I'm playing, is a Nazi sympathizer. I'm playing in a World War II game, and he's a Nazi sympathizer, and you're a Jew. He's not going to like you. What part, because that historically has always been the case. So, we're playing to type somewhat, but as a GM, that's my job, right? You don't expect a Nazi sympathizer to be a super nice guy, because he believes in what the Nazis believe. So automatically, from your point of view, he's a bad guy, but from his point of view, he's doing the right thing. But so it's perception and everything. And so I've had players get up and leave my table because they thought I was being mean to them. And so I always do that session zero where we talk about it.
If you are playing with people you don't know, but even in that circumstance, if you do a session zero, you need nothing else. It's settled beforehand.
Right. And if you have people that don't show up, that's fine. Because at least you explain to them what the situation was, and if they choose to to not accept it, that's fine. And I don't think, at least I don't personally take any offense to that. You know, if I say, hey, Miguel, I'm running a game where I make a ton of dick jokes, and you're like, well, I don't really find that funny, and you don't show up, I don't take any offense. It's not his cup of tea. I get it. Okay. You know, move on to the next gamer, you know. So I think we have to be mature in our respect of each other. And, you know, and if I say or do something that does offend you, I expect you to speak up, you know, because that's what an adult would do.
Yep.
You know, John, I don't like your dick jokes. Okay, Miguel, I'm sorry. I won't make dick jokes anymore. But you're being a dick, Miguel. So that was a joke, by the way. So don't take offense.
No, I never take offense.
That's right.
That's why I like to play those not politically correct games. I like nasty games.
What are you playing right now?
Right now, well, we were playing this thing here. That's one of my scenarios. I don't think you. I'm not sure. You saw this.
You sent me a copy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We interrupted this now, and I'm going to game master. Well, I've already game mastered the first session. This one was also my scenario, but not published yet. Was a small one, a one-shot scenario. And then, well, I don't know. After that, I'm not sure yet. When I finish the playtesting my scenarios, I'm going to do something else. But I haven't decided yet what I'm going to.
There's too many good games.
Yeah, I have a lot of them that I haven't game mastered yet.
So who GMs more, you or Sylvia?
He does.
Usually I am the game master. I think there is going to be some game mastering not coming from me in the near future, and she will be, and another guy was playing with us.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you have more than.
Yeah, I want to have an investigation game because I like them.
Mm-hmm.
But Miguel is not very good at game mastering those. Nope. I can say that, right?
Not really.
So I'm probably going to do that. And maybe some dark fantasy.
Oh, some dark fantasy. So
yes, some dark fantasy, but I'm not sure what yet.
Well, I probably can hook you up with a copy of the Black Iron. So let you
try that.
Take one. And if you prefer the 5th edition version, you know, I'm just not a fan of D&D.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
D&D. We have this
yeah, we also
thing
have
here.
this.
Which one? I can't see it. I haven't heard of that.
Tales of Gore. Oh, it's very problematic.
It's
wait. What does that mean? It's very problematic.
It's the word that the political correct people are woke normally say when something is not something is offensive, so it's problematic. Lovecraft is problematic, like you probably heard.
This game is based on something called Mutant Chronicles by a guy called John Norman. I don't think it's very popular.
But it's very offensive.
It's something like Conan. No, not Conan. John Carter of Mars, but with more boobs and tits and ass.
Oh, I like it. I like it already.
Yeah.
And I think it has some masochism on this.
Kind of rough sex
bondage.
And slavery and
oh geez,
I don't know.
And women being
something
subjugated by men and stuff like that.
So this guy's got some deep psychological problems, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Turned it into a role-playing game.
No.
This is fiction.
Yeah.
Oh,
originally it was
role-playing
fiction.
Game is based on those books.
Oh wow. Okay.
But the original guy had some issues. But I was going to say that the scenario that we are playing now, that wasn't published yet, is slightly based on Hellraiser, and it was an idea that I told Miguel, "Oh, I want to play something based on Hellraiser," and he was like, "Are you sure you want to play? You know, bad things are going to happen to you."
Right.
And I was like, "Yes,
I
want to play a scenario."
I don't
based on
think any of my players that know me would want me to run a Hellraiser game. I'm pretty sure they would be like, "No, we don't want that." That would be a no.
Well,
fantasy.
I'll send you a copy of that one when it's published. You can torture your players.
I can torture them. They may revolt and lynch me, but well, so you like, I know you like the noir gothic, I don't want to say gothic, but the noir like horror Italian splat films. And Sylvia appears to like
Yeah.
the dark fantasy.
And I also like the dark, so I like anything that is dark and
Right.
disturbing.
Right. So you went through your vampire phase.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never got to play vampire actually. Because at that time I didn't have a group. I wanted to role play, but I role played a little bit by forum, but it's not the same.
No.
I was gonna game master the new edition, but then I read it and it was like, eh.
I know here's the thing. I'm happy they made a 5th edition. I'm totally fine with that. But I'm sad that they made a 5th edition.
Oh, yeah.
Because the original vampire with the arcade post art and and the darkness of it, because it was political horror. There's you're a vampire, you eat people, that's not normal, and that's the personal horror that they wanted to instill in you, as well as the political drama. That was just drama, just happened to be more of a political sense, which was a combination that really worked. And then I looked at the 5th edition book and I was all excited to get it. I pre-ordered it. I was super happy to get it. And then I flipped through it and I went, this is not vampire. I don't know what this is, but it's not vampire, I mean, and like the Gangrel is my favorite clan, and they kind of, they neutered them, to put it bluntly. And the Malkavians were always cool, and they and there's all this political correctness in the book. And then after the book was out for a couple months, they got a lot of backlash for the political wokeness, for lack of a better term, that was in the book. And I've never bought any of the supplements just because I had no interest in it. I have all the original vampire stuff, and so I have everything I need. If I wanted to run a vampire game, I can run a vampire game the way I feel vampire is supposed to be.
I have nothing now. I've sold everything I had. The old books.
Oh, there you go, Sylvia. Now you got new presents for him. You can buy him all the old books off of eBay.
He bought me the new version of Vampire. It was a gift for me because it was like a push to have me. Okay, here's the game you want to game master.
Yeah, but
then
no, not
she
really.
Read it and she went, no,
not
thank
really.
you.
Yeah, he also agreed with it. I didn't want to say. I was reading it. It was like, this is a bit off, and then he was like, I don't want to play this. Yeah.
Well, I've got one for you, Sylvia. It's called Witchcraft.
Oh yeah,
I never read that one, but I heard of it, of course.
Well, since you mentioned that, there's another thing I forgot. I forgot about this one.
Yeah.
The Invisible College.
But I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna game master that one. It's also too hard.
Maybe. Maybe I'll pick.
Even I looked at that one and I went, nope.
No, but it's a big book, but you don't have to read it. It's mostly it's information
fluff.
It's not really fluff because it's a real world occult.
But it's information the GM needs. So if you're going to be the GM, you got to read it.
Yes, so maybe not
That's
everything. Not everything at once.
No. Well, it's like everything. I mean, with all the Mutant Chronicle books, there's no way, even if you're the best GM in the world, you can't incorporate all of that information.
Impossible.
It takes time. You'd have 20 sessions, because there's so much material in each book.
Yeah, we play the 2 or 3 campaigns. I don't know the published ones.
Didn't we
you guys should record your sessions.
Yeah, but they're in Portuguese.
We started doing it now.
We'll see now who's being elitist and racist. Okay, you could put English subtitles. There you go.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work, but it could. I could do that.
I don't care.
Yeah, the auto translation is not good.
Yeah, the auto translation is normally awful.
That is.
And he doesn't cut when we are saying stupid things. He has them on YouTube. If we need to sub it, we need to cut all the stupid parts.
Yeah,
all the out of character dick jokes and all of that.
See, she goes back to the dick jokes. That's horrible, Sylvia. I love it.
I'm a bad person. Yeah.
I would love to game with you guys. That would be awesome. You guys should move to America.
When you want to game master online, you can invite us.
I get the game. No.
Yeah.
Sylvia gets the game master.
Yeah, I don't know if I can game master in English. I need to practice a little.
There you go. See, we're helping her.
I need to practice.
That's a problem with me too. I would like
he doesn't want to game master in English. I don't know. I need to have more experience.
Why not? Your English is fine.
Yes, but to game master, it's different. I think I would get stuck somewhere in the.
It probably would be
So?
easier for me because I work for an American company. I'm not gonna say the name because now, so I have to talk to in English every day because
Right.
it's a multinational company. So I'm more used to it.
Well, Miguel, your English is fine, brother. I mean,
Yeah,
you
well,
speak it very well.
I know I
And
can
you know
write
what?
it.
When you game master, you're comfortable, right?
Yeah, in Portuguese.
No, I'm saying, and speaking in English. Right now, we're just two guys and a young lady having a conversation, and you're doing great. So you go into that role playing session with that same attitude, you'll nail it.
Yeah, maybe I will have to try it. I'll have to try
You'll
it.
have to try. You don't have to try it with me because I'm a jerk, and so I'll pick on you. But do it with somebody else.
I think I'll have to try it without recording it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's probably easier.
I'm not recording this because in case the rules mechanics don't work for Foundry, for the VTT, we don't want to, we don't want to advertise that it's broken, so to speak. So we're just going to be playing it, on Discord, excuse me, and Foundry amongst ourselves. But if it goes well and everybody enjoys it, then I think I'll host another session where I actually record it and I'll upload it to YouTube or Twitch. I haven't decided. So yeah, so definitely. Did you guys see I got stickers made?
I read something today.
I know. I should. I'll ask Sylvia because I know when I ask guys, they always forget. Sylvia, if you send me your guys' mailing address on Discord, I'll shoot you guys.
Miguel will send you. We remember that because I hardly ever use Discord, only when we have to play. Yeah.
So this one's a holographic one, so it kind of changes color, and this is just a regular. But yeah, they're just 3x3" stickers that I got with my channel logo. And yeah, I'll have to send you guys some stickers because that would be awesome. So there's a company called Sticker. What are they called? Oh, Sticker Mule. Don't ask me the name. They're called Sticker Mule, and they make stickers for really cheap. So I got 100 stickers for a little bit over $60 US.
So you started to doing some promotion for the channel.
Yeah, I want to get a couple mouse pads made. Everybody uses computers now, right? So everybody can use a mouse pad. And then I want to get some T-shirts made. I had a guy lined up, a young lady, but then she flaked on me. So she was going to make the T-shirts at a decent cost for me. And she has a business, but I guess she got better work somewhere else. And because I only wanted to get like 20 made to start, But yeah, I want to get some merchandise made. This is my retirement plan. I'll be 55 this summer. So I got a couple more years before I retire. And then I want to do this full time.
Yeah.
So, where I game master and talk about games.
Did you ever thought about doing your own game? Because every game master at some point thinks about doing.
I would be remiss if I said no, but then I'm also lazy. And that's why I like to GM, because being a player is work. GMing is infinitely easier than being a player, in my opinion. But yeah, I do. But the problem is I have gamer ADD, if you understand that term. There's so many different systems out there and I like a lot of them for various different reasons, that I'm afraid if I made my own game, it would be like throwing a quarter in a round room and telling someone to get it out of the corner. It's just, you wouldn't be able to do it, so it's, I don't want to put anybody through that, but I do have in my brain, I have this sci-fi setting with pirates, and where they use people, the essence of people, to power ships. So, you can be born into a slave race.
You can just publish a setting and not do the mechanics.
It's true.
For some of those, OSR or something.
Yeah, that's true. I could
publish the setting.
Yeah, like what if I always thought, because I fell in love with Mutant Chronicles when it first came out, first edition, and I had the Swedish version, which I still have. It's actually written in Swedish, and so I can't read a word of it. But hey, I own it. But I always thought, what if the Dark Legion or the Dark Symmetry won?
Yep.
Yeah.
What kind of world would it be? Right? I always thought that would be a cool setting. Like, I think, and I even told this to Chris Birch. I said, you should make a splat book of, Dark Eden after, where the Dark Legion wins. Algaroth and Samai and Mawauji and Ilion, they win. What kind of world would it be?
I would play that one. I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
That sounds great.
Who was it? Was it Fantasy Flight? Fantasy Flight did, yeah, it was Fantasy Flight. They did a game called Midnight. It was a fantasy RPG called Midnight back in the 3.0, 3.5 days. And it was basically, what if Sauron had won? What if the orcs and the evil had won, had defeated man and the dwarves and the elves? But of course, they couldn't use the Tolkien, IP, so they made their own. But there was the evil lord, I think he was called Illidan or something to that effect, and he was basically Sauron, and then he had his lieutenants, which were ring bearers, and they won. They won the battle of five armies. They won. They decimated the dwarves and the elves, and they subjugated the humans, and anybody with magic is hunted down. They had basically what he equated to wargs, the big like dire wolves that could smell magic. And so if you used magic, they could hunt you down because every magic left like a signature trail. The setting is called Midnight. You can find it in PDF in a couple various places if you look hard enough. And just a great setting, but you were playing a hero in this very dark. So Sylvia, you would like it. Very dark setting, that like the elves, they sided with Sauron basically because it was either that or be extinct.
The elves are assholes. I don't like elves.
Yeah, pretty much, and the orcs were like the shock troops, because they breed so fast and everything. So yeah, really, really dark setting back in the 3.5, days. So if you guys get a chance to find that one, go check it out. It's really well written. And they even made a movie that's horrible. Don't watch. Well, I don't know. I kind of like those really bad movies, like the Mutant Chronicles movie.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
Well, I enjoyed the movie if it's not regarded as a Mutant Chronicles movie. There's a couple of good actors there, and
oh yeah, Ron Perlman, Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of good actors in it, but it was a horrible movie.
Yeah, the story is awful.
Oh, it was bad.
It's a cliche.
It's so bad it's good. Is that the way it goes? Yeah, but I own it on DVD, so it's not that bad because I did buy it on DVD.
We have it, but did we buy it, or it just came with one of those?
No. It was it's a Blu-ray, I think.
So you bought it. Okay.
You got it in extra bad vision.
Yeah.
Because some of the prosthetics and stuff, for the Dark Legion guys, which they never really showed too well. They were just zombies.
Yeah, then they aren't quite the Dark Legion.
I like the appendages, but they're not very, very good. Yeah.
No, they were pretty bad. And I believe on the cover they had a picture of Cardinal Durand, and they had a picture of Algaroth. But we never saw him in the movie, did we? I think we saw the Cardinal in the movie, right?
Yeah, the Cardinal. Yeah, I don't know if he's called Durand, but he's there.
He was the Cardinal.
But it's not Malkovich, right? Malkovich was the president. Or is he the Cardinal?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's so bad. I don't remember.
Neither do I.
I can watch the movie and 5 minutes later I block it out because it was that bad. When Ron Perlman was, he was a Doom Trooper, which they never. Did you guys ever do the card game?
No.
The Doom Trooper card game?
No.
Oh,
no.
You gotta get those cards.
It's probably it's easy to buy them. Yeah, on eBay.
Oh yeah, in fact they have a computer game on Steam. I don't know if you have Steam in Portugal.
I think I tried that game, but I'm not really good with card games.
Me neither, but
I tried it when it was beta phase, I think.
Yeah, I remember. You sent me the invite, but then the time I like computer games, but I don't have the time. Especially if it's a card game, you need the time for it.
Right.
Especially now.
I haven't even downloaded it yet, so it's on my Steam wish list, but I haven't because I have a 5-year-old toddler at home, so I have no free time, and if I'm not dealing with him, I'm dealing with my YouTube channel, and if I'm not dealing with that, I'm dealing with prepping for, like, I'm doing so much for this right now, so it's like, and my wife's like, you have a family. I'm like, yeah, you'll be there when I'm done, so yeah. Do you have kids? Do you guys have kids?
Just
keep it that way.
Yeah,
keep it that way.
We'll keep it that way. Yeah, there's no time for children.
I love my son. My eldest daughter is 36, My next oldest is 22, and I have a 5-year-old. I'm tired, but he's awesome, and I wouldn't change it for the world. He's amazing. He's a lot of fun. It keeps you young, that's for sure. So, but yeah, it just takes, it's like being a GM. The party will do the exact opposite of what you want them to do. That's what children are like.
I have 2 nieces. I always was the oldest daughter. And I had 3 younger sisters, a younger cousin, so I always had kids around. So it's like, no. And now I have 2 nieces, but when
so you're
one
the
is
built-in
7,
babysitter.
exactly. When I went to, okay, let's go to the cinema, let's go to the theater. I will try to start introduce her to role-playing games, because she has a really big imagination and she loves games. So I'm gonna do that. Not with the lamentations of the
no,
Flame Princess
no.
or something like that, but I already picked some kiddies game to try with her. But then whenever I'm tired, you go back to your mother.
All right, exactly. You can give them away. There's a really great Paranoia. I'm sure you know about that one. That's been around for years.
Yes.
Paranoia is a great kids game though, because it's so silly. Humor. It can be dark.
Actually, I've been thinking about buying Paranoia, so I'm going to. That's it.
Yeah,
I'll
Paranoia
buy
is
Paranoia.
great. The new version of Paranoia
Yeah,
is really good.
I was asking about that one. Do you like the new version? Okay.
Oh, I love it. I have it. I
Should
haven't done a review of it yet.
Red Clearance? I think. Yeah, that's
yes.
Okay.
That's one of the starting adventures, and it's really good.
Okay.
But and then it's still in print, I think, is Teenagers from Outer Space.
That's from Mike Sponsbit, right?
Yeah. And it's silly and campy and great for young people. Another good one is No Thank You Evil by Green Ronin. By George Valikos. No Thank You Evil. Chris Pramis. No, that's Green Ronin. Yeah. So No Thank You Evil is another good one for kids. Or as funny as this sounds, My Little Pony is actually a fantastic.
I thought about My Little
fun.
Pony, so it's really good for a girl.
I actually played it at a convention with.
That's an old game, right?
Yeah, it's been around for a while. Just after right after they came out with 4th edition D&D, I think My Little Pony came out, or Pony Finder as they call it, because it uses the Pathfinder 1st edition rules.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, but you're all the little ponies, and it's really cute. And I've played it with girls and boys, and they all get a kick out of it, because it's teaching positivity and things like that. So it's just a good game.
My sister and her husband, they like playing games, not role playing, and they always looking for games that they can play with, and they have a younger one, so it will be with the 2 of them soon. So I may also, let's try a role play. So it's a role play for kids, but
you can get them Cards Against Humanity. They'll love that one. It's very family friendly.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's very bad. But I don't know what else. You got any weird questions for me, like I ask people when I interview?
I don't know. If I have no, probably not.
Not weird, yeah. Not weird. Let's go back. You mentioned Dishonored. Did you like the role playing game? Just see if we miss something or not.
Which one?
Miguel, Dishonored, the role play.
I like it. It uses the 2D20 light system. So the same one that John Carter of Mars uses, and Dune. So if you're familiar with that version of 2D20, and it's set in that Dishonored universe,
we have John Carter, but I've never ran it.
I couldn't get into it. I tried. I Edgar Rice Burroughs is a phenomenal writer, and I've read that book probably 20 times. But I did the beta test for Modiphius for that, and I just didn't like it. I did the beta test for Dune. I play tested the rules for them, and I didn't like it. Didn't do it for me.
Yeah. Well, the rules probably, the version, that light version, it's probably strange, right?
It just didn't. It's more of a game of intrigue, and that's just not my cup of tea, So it wasn't for me. But I know several people have it and they love it. I've seen some really good reviews on it. but I've seen some bad reviews too. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not gonna
but
add it to the list.
yeah, well, and it's like anything, what you like doesn't necessarily mean what I like,
Exactly.
right? So it's just one of those things. But
Have you?
yeah, I think Dishonored, it's worth looking at it, at least
Yeah,
picking
well,
up the
we have
PDF.
we have the PDF.
Yeah,
I
the
bought the
PDF.
PDF, but well, it's somewhere in the
Oh,
hard
I
disk.
can't do anything about the sun, so it's coming through,
Yeah.
beating me up over here. So anything else? Because I do have another meeting at 1:30.
No,
So
No. So
we can wrap this up now. We'll probably someday we have something more to talk about. Certainly, a lot
Yeah.
more games.
Yes,
Because
we can
I
talk
will
about video games. Maybe have a session just to talk
I don't
about
play
video
video
games. You
games.
don't play video games. I don't know why I
No.
thought you played video games. Because some of the games that you reviewed
do
are also computer games.
Right. I do
being
stream.
stupid.
I do play Star Wars: The
Yeah.
Old Republic, the MMO. But I play that very casually. I don't even have a max level character. The game's been out for 10 years. So that tells you how slow I play it. And I've been a subscriber for 10 years. So I'm not a huge, I have an Xbox. I love Borderlands on the Xbox. But yeah, I'm not a huge, I have a Steam account. I can't tell you the last time I logged into it. I got an email telling me that Doom Trooper was out, and because I had marked it as a wish list on my Steam list, and I don't think, like I said, I haven't downloaded it yet.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
let's cross that. But we'll have other games to talk for sure.
oh yes, we
The
do.
list is
We
huge.
didn't cover all the games that I also like and that you reviewed. For example, we didn't talk about Alien and The Witcher and A State and a couple of
Conspiracy X.
Yeah, Conspiracy X.
Oh, I did some writing for Conspiracy X, George Valikos, and those guys, and Alex Yerkat.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I wrote the intro adventure to Armageddon. That was done by the same guys. I can't think of the company now. All Flesh Must Be Eaten.
Eden Studios, right?
Eden Studios. Yeah. Alex has since left the company, and now it's just George. But George runs a gaming store in upstate New York. He's a big, huge Warhammer 40K player and stuff. He paints. He's a phenomenal painter. He's also a very good artist. I play tested and did all the beta for all the Buffy and Terra Primate, all those games.
Yeah.
So I have they paid for me to go to Gen Con for a couple of years in a row. So Heartbreaker Hobbies paid for me to go to Gen Con back in the early 90s. So and that's where I fell in love with Mutant Chronicles, because I also they had their miniatures game called Warzone.
Yeah.
And I demoed Warzone for them, and they paid for me to go to Gen Con, paid for my hotel, paid for my entrance to the convention, paid for my food. It was awesome back in the heyday. But Heartbreakers Hobbies mismanaged a lot of their money, which is why they went under. They went out of business because they didn't treat it like a business, I guess. But I had fun working for them. Big Bob Watts, the black guy you see on the cover of the Capital book, that's really a character. Mitch Hunter, the guy that's on the cover of Incredible with the guns falling with the dog.
Yeah.
Mitch Hunter, that's a real person. So they're Cardinal Durand was a real person. There's a lot of history behind there, and Heartbreaker was a great company to work for, and they, at the time they put out a ton of great games that just the American audience didn't catch, which sucks because and it was Target. It was Heartbreaker Hobbies in the U.S. In Sweden, it was Target AB was the name of the company. And
Those the guys who published Cult also.
Yep. And Cult, and then the new version of Cult is completely different.
Yeah, it is.
From the original Cult, because the original Cult was a very dark game.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dealing,
Extremely.
Yes.
That's my favorite game, actually.
Cult is your favorite game?
Yep.
I have the original Cult.
I
have the original Cult book, and it was an oversized book. It wasn't your standard 8.5 by 11.
You mean the original Swedish? That's
yes.
It? Yeah. Okay. No, I don't have that one. I just have the English
Well, they
versions.
sent it to me when I was doing demo work for them. They were like, "Is there anything you want?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would love to get copies of these." And so they sent them to me. They even did a miniatures game. I don't remember what it was called, but it was early 92, 93, and it was resin cast model cars that you would put, like Car Wars. You're familiar with Steve Jackson's Car Wars, where you had, all the guns and missiles and everything. And it was that kind of game, and it played in centimeters, because they're European, so they use metric. And it was a blast. But unfortunately, like I said, it didn't go anywhere in the US. So, but cool. Well, we'll definitely do it again, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Second part.
Oh yes,
part
we will.
Part two.
Part two.
We'll throw a little French in there.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Mean. And
thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
Have a nice week.
All right, man. You guys take care. Be well.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.